The players have been standing their ground, and the players have been right this whole time. In order for the WNBA to save this league right now, you have to open the books. Let me repeat, open the books. What's the big deal? Guess what? You open the books and...
In the insulated multi-billion-dollar sphere of professional sports ownership, there often comes a moment in contentious labor disputes when negotiations shift from calculated strategy to visible frustration. When a union feels that the lever is diminishing, whether through an ineffective strike threat or stalled talks, its messaging can become more urgent and public-facing. Within the Women's National Basketball Association, some veteran voices have taken to social media to criticize ownership, calling for greater transparency, and in some cases access to detailed financial records to substantiate claims about league profitability. To critics, this can appear unrealistic or legally impractical given that privately owned enterprises are not typically required to disclose proprietary financial ledgers beyond agreed upon auditing frameworks. However, dismissing these demands outright overlooks the underlying mistrust driving them. Players are reacting to a period of rapid financial change highlighted by surging television ratings and heightened commercial visibility, following the arrival of stars like Caitlin Clark. After years of messaging centered on financial losses or modest margins, the league's sudden valuation growth has intensified scrutiny. From the player's perspective, calls to open the books are less about entitlement and more about verifying whether the reported financial constraints accurately reflect the league's current trajectory. Former standout Angel McCoughtry has publicly defended the union position, framing transparency as a matter of famousness. Yet the legal and structural realities of private ownership complicate the expectation. While collective bargaining agreements can include audit rights and financial disclosures, full public access to proprietary spreadsheets is rarely standard practice in privately held organizations. The clash, therefore, is not simply emotional. It reflects a deeper divide between labor's demand for reorance and ownership's adherence.
The players have been standing their ground, and the players have been right this whole time. In order for the WNBA to save this league right now, you have to open the books. Let me repeat, open the books. What's the big deal? Guess what? You open the books.
Calls to open the books reflect the height of frustration in a tense labor dispute, but they also highlight a fundamental disagreement about structure and authority within the Women's National Basketball Association. Some advocates argue that full financial transparency is necessary to rebuild trust and verify claims about profitability from ownership standpoint. However, that demand can sound like a misunderstanding of how private enterprises function. In most corporate environments, employees, even highly visible and culturally influential ones, do not possess unrestricted rights to audit proprietary financial ledgers. Access to detailed accounting is typically governed by negotiated audit provisions within a collective bargaining agreement, not by public ultimatum. This tension reflects two competing perspectives. Players believe that their labor, marketability, and star power amplified in recent seasons by figures such as Caitlin Clark and materially increased league revenues, and therefore they seek assurances that growth is being shared equitably. Ownership, on the other hand, emphasizes its role in supplying capital, assuming operational risk, and maintaining long-term infrastructure. The disagreement is less about emotion than about governance. Labor views transparency as a pathway to fairness, while management views unrestricted disclosure as incompatible with standard corporate practice. When former stars like Angel McCoughtry publicly champion transparency demands, it intensifies a rhetoric but does not alter the legal framework that governs privately held organizations. In most professional leagues, financial clarity is achieved through structured audits and negotiated reporting mechanisms, not open-ended access to internal spreadsheets. The debate therefore centers not on whether transparency matters, but on how it is defined, limited, and implemented within the boundaries of corporate law and collective bargaining.